Welcome to our weekly meditation, and this week there's an overall theme, isn't there? We're looking at deepening our connection with the divine. Part of our what I for myself I think of as spiritual formation, and this week using the example of the mystics. So this is using Father Richard Raw's meditations from last week. There might be a little bit here about just deconstructing and demystifying what we mean by mystics. It's simply one who has moved from mere belief or belonging systems or just talking about God to an actual tangible experience, possibly an inner experience. And such a movement, such formation is surely possible, desirable, available to everyone. So yeah, it's nothing strange or obscure. It's part of an example of those who've undertaken spiritual formation, leading to greater union or communion. So we begin this evening, this as part of our ongoing practice, the development of our practice, beginning as always with setting our intention to engage, adjusting our position, and focusing on the present. So let's just go through that to make this inner commitment, intention, adjust where we're sitting so that we're comfortable, feeling connected, and then focus. Bring our attention inwards. Bring our attention to ourselves. And it's helpful, the breathing is a way of achieving that focus inwards as we take 2 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as suits you best, closing your eyes or lowering the gaze or using the image on the screen. As we gently but deliberately lengthen the breath, increase the depth of the breathing and slowing it down in the process. If you can, I suggest you count to 4 on the in-breath, then hold for 2, count to 5 on the out-breath, and again hold for 2 after the out-breath. And as you continue to breathe, we've talked about the external weather. What about the weather inside? What would be today's forecast, the current weather conditions? Is it calm, breezy, bright and sunny, or grey and overcast. Checking in on your internal weather. Or put another way, how are you feeling? And just notice, don't judge, don't try to change anything. Again, being your own observer. Notice, accept and sit with it. Perhaps being able to accept whatever our state of mind is important. So some thoughts on mystics and the journey of the mystic. The first thing is that for all religions, mystics, in all religions, God is always experienced as abiding in the soul, and yet in contradiction also being transcendent and mysterious. So God both intimate and ultimate, no longer out there, but not just in here either. So that inner experience actually adds to the paradox of the divine. The second thing is that mysticism is about transformation, holy transformation by the divine, so that the mystic becomes instrumental in the further transformation of God's people. Because this isn't a solitary activity, this isn't something that's hidden away. This holy transformation always results in missional action in the world. And indeed, Mirabel Starr talks about how this strengthens, this receiving divine love strengthens the mystic's commitment to others. So a third point to make is that any mystical experience is an experience of the heart opening. She says, out of that open heart flows the parts of us that are often in the way of direct experience, and into that open heart flows grace, that sacred substance that mercifully helps me forget for a moment that I'm separate. Richard Rohr, in his usual honest way, reassures us in identifying how we resist this opening of the heart. He says, I'm just like you. My immediate response to most situations is defensive, judgmental, controlling, analysing. I'm better at calculating than contemplating. The false ego self, perhaps the closed heart, seems to have the first word in almost every situation. Contemplation can help us to progress so that we don't just react. Rather, we respond more slowly and wisely. And finally, another modern mystic, Thomas Keating, Raw says, he taught me that this path of love requires courage because it's so much easier to actually just keep your heart closed. But the wonderful thing about living with your heart open is that it's so much harder to otherize, to make the other evil, wrong, stupid. So back to the breath for a moment. Take your focus back to the breath. Perhaps use it initially as a way of imagining that connection of breathing in that pneuma, that breath, that spirit. In the words of Howard Thurman, God is in me, and the ladder from the earth to sky is available. We may want to use some of his imagery here. So I can ascend my own altar stairs wherever I am, under any circumstances. For me, it's more, I imagine, descending stairs to an inner room, to my heart center. Maybe as we sit with these thoughts, we can intentionally think of opening the heart. Thurman again, when I love people, then I find God in me. And a colleague of Richard Raw's, James Finley, says, the realization that down in the deep down depths of things, God is welling up and giving God's self away in and as every breath and heartbeat. So as we breathe, breathing in the breath, the spirit, perhaps we can imagine our hearts, our closed hearts gently opening. When I love people, then I find God in me. And some final thoughts to take us to our longer silence. The word mysticism, a direct experience of divine presence and the highest levels of union with divine mystery. It also includes the human longing for the ultimate. Implies that the mystical quest is intrinsic to human nature. The impetus of one's entire being never rests until it rests in God. this internal movement toward divine communion, rather than our daily distraction, is the essence of spirituality and spiritual formation. And so we'll go to our longer silence with music from Salt of the Sound. Stay with me. Walk softly into the night. Stay with me. Move softly into the night. Stay with me. So we might just use our breathing as a focus.
Walk softly into the night. Stay with me.
Or imagine climbing the stairs or descending the stairs to the inner space or to the altar.
Move softly into the night. Stay.
Or simply be the observer of our own thoughts.
Walk softly into the night.
And in observing them, allow them to settle.
Stay with me. Move softly into the night. Stay.
So we gently come out of our silence,
move softly into the night. Stay.
gently opening our eyes, perhaps gently stretching. And as we go softly into the night, go with some further words from Howard Thurman. O love of God, without which life has no meaning and no harbour, leave us not alone with our little lives, our broken dreams, our insistent problems, but invade our spirit with thy vitality, that we may be renewed in all the ways of our lives, and that we may turn from this place, this day, with all that is within us, washed and purified and refreshed. So may we move softly into the night.